All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about the AFC North rematch between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. So let's kind of get into that. So right now, the Steelers, they are currently, right, they're 10 and 4 on the season. Yeah, 10 and 4 on the season. Ravens are 9 and 5. So this is a big game because I do believe if the Ravens win this, then they pass the Steelers in the division. I mean, they'll both be tied, but I think the Ravens will hold the tiebreaker. I want to say, um, but yeah, and I've said this constantly. The Steelers cannot afford to be a wild card team again, or yeah, be a wild card team. Yeah, well, yeah, be a wild card team again and lose this division. They can't. Steeler fans want this team to host a playoff game and with a full crowd this time around and win a playoff game for the first time in 8 years. Can they do that? Well, we have to wait and see. But this is a very big game for both teams. Last time these two teams played against each other, the Ravens, they beat themselves. Justin Tucker did not have a good game. You know, you had Derrick Henry fumbling on the first possession of the game. And the Steelers actually did a nice job limiting Derrick Henry in that game. He did score a touchdown, but they held him to 65 yards rushing. Now, I don't know if they're going to do that again. I hope they do for my sake because I'm going against them in fantasy in the playoffs. But that is going to be a tall task. Now, I wasn't sure about the status of T.J.Watt going into this game, but it is being reported that he is going to play. So that's good because anytime T.J.Watt misses an extended period of time or any time, the Steelers' defense is not the same. It just falls apart. So him playing in this game is massive. Now, a player that will not be active for this game is once again George Pickens. He is going to miss yet another matchup or another game here. Has missed the last couple of weeks. Steelers did miss him last week against the Eagles, and now they're not going to have him here. And we did see the Steelers' offense. They struggled. Now, the game kind of turned against the Eagles when, they had that, botched handoff, that botched pitch by Russell Wilson to Najee Harris. And that led to 7 points for the Eagles. That turned into a drive that led to a touchdown. So the Steelers, offensively, I think they're going to struggle again in this game. Now, what's going to keep them in it is the defense. And like I said, with T.J. Watt playing, we saw what he did against the Eagles on Sunday. Jalen Hurts is running with the football, scrambling around, and then Watt comes out of nowhere and just knocks the ball out and causes a fumble that leads to the Steelers jumping on it and creating a turnover there. And, Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson have similar playing styles. They are mobile quarterbacks, and I do think Lamar Jackson is the better of the two, but still, the Steelers just went up against a mobile quarterback, and now they're going up against a quarterback that they've had success against. Lamar Jackson is 1-4 against the Steelers in his career. And it's surprising because you would think, why is he only 1-4? Well, to be honest, I don't really know. But part of the reason is because he's been injured or he hasn't played in some of the matchups when they've gone against him. Because you got to remember, last year, the final game of the season, the Ravens played their backups because they had the 1 seed locked up. There was the other year where the Steelers needed to win, and then the Chargers and the Ravens were playing that night, and they didn't need a tie. If a tie happened, then they wouldn't have made the playoffs, and then the Raiders ended up winning, and the Steelers and the Raiders both got into the playoffs. But that game actually almost ended in a tie. But Tyler Huntley was playing in the game earlier that day when the Steelers won. That was Ben Roethlisberger's final year. And then Tyler Huntley was also playing, I believe, in the game where Kenny Pickett went on that fourth quarter drive that led to the Najee Harris touchdown. So, yeah, actually, in 2021, the Steelers swept the season series. And then I think in 2020, Lamar actually didn't play in that Wednesday game. They did play in Baltimore. That was, again, during the COVID season. That was with Big Ben, and the Steelers won that. So yeah, Lamar Jackson just has not had that much success against the Steelers in his career when he does play. The only game that he's won is when Mason Rudolph was the quarterback. And that was back in 2019. Actually, that was the game when Mason Rudolph took that vicious hit by Earl Thomas, and he got knocked out of the game, and they had to put in Devlin Hodges. So, yeah, no, he's 1-4. You would not think that, but you know what? The Steelers, they find a way. They find a way. They play in these close games with the Ravens. They play them tough, and they win. They win these games. Now, this game is in Baltimore, and the Ravens' defense, very good run defense. Pass defense has not been good, but I do think against the Steelers this week, I think the defense will play well. The Steelers, like I said, they struggled without George Pickens. I think it's going to be tough for them in this matchup, and I kind of lean towards the Ravens here. I think Lamar Jackson and that team, they want to get revenge for that game earlier in the year. I don't expect Justin Tucker to miss multiple field goals in this game, even though he hasn't been great. I get it. But that was part of the reason why the Ravens lost that game, is because of Justin Tucker missing field goals. And also, I don't think Derrick Henry's going to fumble in this game again. Now, if he does, I'll come back, on the 30th, and I'll say, yeah, I was wrong about that. Didn't see that coming again. It's very rare to see Derrick Henry lose the rock, but he did. So I don't think the Ravens are going to beat themselves in this game. I do expect this game to be somewhat close, but maybe as the game goes along, I think it could play out kind of similar to how this game between the Eagles and the Steelers played on Sunday, where, the Steelers keep it close, they're in the game, but then the Ravens kind of pull away at the end. I think I kind of see that happening. So I am leaning towards the Ravens in this game. I think they win by at least a touchdown. The spread right now, I think, is 5.5. I want to say. Actually, no. The spread actually dropped down. Oh, no. Never mind. I was looking at the game from earlier this year. So actually, the spread went up to 6.5. So, yeah, 6.5 is a lot of points that you're giving to the Steelers. But, again, I just think they're going to struggle offensively without George Pickens. And the Ravens are a good run defense. So, it's going to be up to Russell Wilson in that passing game to try to put up points. And, without George Pickens, it's going to be tough. So, Calvin Austin, Mike Williams, those guys are going to have to step up, along with Pat Freiermuth, who scored another touchdown against the Eagles last week. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Ravens in this game. I think Lamar Jackson will play well enough. I think Derrick Henry will have a good game as well. I don't think he's going to get held down to 65 rushing yards. Now, if he does, great. I'll take that because, after what Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton did last night, I'm down 28-0 to start off the week, which, again, it's going to happen. I didn't have anybody playing last night. I need Chris Boswell to have a big game. I'd be okay with the Steelers just kicking 6 field goals again and then winning, another 18-16 game and Derrick Henry doesn't do good. Sign me up for that. I'll take that. If I don't win this pick, that's fine. As long as I can win my fantasy matchup, I'll take it. But yeah, I think Derrick Henry will have a good game. T.J.Watt will, in that pass rush will make plays. They'll make Lamar Jackson's life difficult at times. But ultimately, I just think the Ravens. I think the Ravens will pull away, win this game. I'll say they win. Like 27-17, something like that. And, this would be a big loss for the Steelers. That would be 2 straight. And all of a sudden, Steeler fans will start saying, yep, here we go again. So, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, thankfully, after this game, their final 2 games are at home. Now, again, they could go in and win that game. And then, again, I'll come in on the 30th. And I'll say, oh, yeah, I was wrong. The Steelers got the win. But, yeah, this is a tough game. The final 2 games are at home, though, for them. If they do lose, they play the Chiefs, which is going to be tough, and the Bengals. Both games are going to be tough, but they are at home. and maybe George Pickens will be back. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I like the Ravens in this game. Sorry, Steeler fans. My dad's a Steelers fan, so probably not gonna like hearing me say that. Also, one of our sports writers, Matt, is also a Steelers fan. Now, again, listen, I have some allegiance to the Steelers because, like I said, my dad's a Steelers fan, but it's just got to lean towards the Ravens. But you know what? Look, it's not like I've been great at picking games this year with the spreads. So, we'll see. I mean, I've done better, obviously, picking, straight up. But yeah, I got to go with the Ravens here. So, I don't think the Ravens are going to beat themselves. And yeah, I just think they're going to get the win here. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think, though, about this game. Who do you think wins? Let me know in the comments. We could see a shift in the AFC North. Who leads that division by the end of the week? So, we are going to take our next break. And then when we come back, we will talk about the college football playoff games. We'll talk about the early slate of games as well on Sunday in the NFL. I'll give you my spread picks for those games as well. I did see a post on Instagram. I don't know who posted it. I think I'm hoping it's Bleacher Report. It was not Bleacher Report. But basically, it showed like the schedule for the next couple weeks. Or maybe it was the NFL's Instagram. No, it was not the NFL's Instagram. But basically, it just showed, all the football games we're going to be getting over the next, few weeks. And, there's very few days where there's not going to be a game going on. We got games tonight. We got games tomorrow, game Sunday, a game on Monday. You have the Hawaii Bowl on Tuesday. You also got games on Christmas. You got the Thursday night game. Got a couple of bowl games then. Some more bowl games on Friday the 27th. And obviously, college football playoff continues. The NFL regular season. And then we get to the NFL playoffs. And then, after a divisional weekend, that Monday is the national championship game on January 20th, exactly a month from today. So, yeah, there's a lot of football going on from now until the Super Bowl. So, yeah, no, it's a fun time to be a football fan. And we got Indiana and Notre Dame to start off the college football playoff tonight. And then we got some of the games tomorrow as well to go along with, the two Saturday NFL games. So, yeah, a lot of football to digest. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, that's we'll discuss the college football playoff matchups as well as the early slate of games in the NFL when we come back. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.